Hey gang, welcome back to Velvet Games, and today we're going to be talking about some of Magic's taboos and what not to do's at the table. I'm Nick.
I'm Zach.
I'm Jason.
And I'm Austin. And this is Velvet Games.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about what is probably more commonly known as some of Magic's taboos. You know, they're things that are typically kind of, I guess, more so unspoken rules and things that people don't typically like to bring to the table just because they're kind of seen as no-nos, at least in the format of Commander and other things.
Sure.
I'm here to talk to you all today about some of them and kind of why I don't really think some of them should be taboo anymore.
All right.
So I'd love to know what you guys think.
Lay it on us.
Yeah,
Go off, King.
Let's jump into
Really?
number one. The first taboo I want to talk about is land destruction.
You're wrong. Go on. Go on.
Next.
That was quick. So obviously we all know land destruction seen as a pretty big taboo in Magic. Newer players, veteran players, doesn't matter where you are in the skill set, they typically kind of look at land destruction and go, no, we don't like that or whatever. The meta's changed a lot in just the last 5 years alone. And in all honesty, I think people need to run more of it in their decks, I believe. We have, in a normal deck, you run, what, 11, 12 pieces of single target removal? I think you need to start running some single target land destruction cards. Now, I'm not saying mass land destruction. I'm not saying bring out your Armageddons, your Obliterates, your Jekyll Hops, your Decree of Annihilation. Just single target ones like Cleansing Wildfire,
Right.
Sinkhole. People already run Wasteland.
Sure.
And the other one, I can't remember, that you
Strip
stack
Mine.
it and blow up. Yeah, Strip Mine.
Strip Mine.
People already run those or whatever. Let me give you guys an example. How many games have you played at the table where even though somebody isn't mana ramping, you know, consistently rampant growth, cultivate, all these other land searching cards, but they feel miles ahead of you because of their Gaia's Cradle, their Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth, their Cabal Coffers?
Sure.
How many games have you played like that where somebody who is probably only one land ahead of you feels like they're miles ahead of you in terms of the format?
Yeah.
A bit.
I think, in all honesty, I think a key piece of single target removal, if you're building any sort of EDH deck, you need to include in that 11 to 12 pieces of single target removal, maybe make one or two of them Sinkhole, structural distortion, a Cleansing Wildfire, something that really takes out that, you know, that Gaia's Cradle, that Cabal Coffers, that Phyrexian Tower that's just going and going and going and enabling someone.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's those mana, like super mana heavy lands, like Shrine to Nykthos or something like that.
Oh,
right?
yeah, 100%.
Where it's like they really go off, and it's just a single land. So yeah, I can understand destroying those. And I mean, there's even stuff like Maze of Ith, the Rogue's Passage, where like they're really like they're utility lands and they're really kind of benefiting your opponent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad idea to get rid of those. You know, run some like removal. I think like I run land destruction in my Heartless Hedetsugu deck
Mm-hmm.
because that deck is supposed to be just like we're gonna go fast. I don't care if I'm on the target. Let's go. I mean, it works out. You know, so I do run like land destruction just to kind of like blow up certain key lands that the opponents have to try and slow them down. So where I'm, you know, the one in control and I'm the one who's deciding the pace of the game.
Yeah.
I will say I kind of agree with you on like the Armageddons and stuff like that. The only instance in which I would say like it's fine to run like mass land destruction is if you have the win con at the ready
That's
and
what I was going to say, too.
you're in a position where you can win and your opponents you really want to secure it and you're like, you guys are not threatening me. Armageddon. That's it.
Yeah, no, I definitely would think so. I think that's why back in Dominaria they reprinted that saga, Fall of Thran. Literally,
Right.
chapter 1 just says destroy all lands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then chapter 2 and 3 is you get to pick 2 and bring them back. It's meant to equalize out the board state and in terms of everyone's resources at the table.
Right.
Right.
That's just, you know, me personally. And Cleansing Wildfire, I feel, is the nicer one. I mean, it's 2 mana, you blow up a land, but they get to go look for a basic and put it in.
Yeah.
And you can
Yeah.
draw a card, it replaces itself.
There's a lot of, and especially in the last couple of sets where they released these like sorcery speed destroy land cards.
Mm-hmm.
But most of them do let you just go get another land and put it on. So
Yeah.
it's not like you're getting rid of a mana source. You're just limiting what they're doing at that point. So like a Field of Ruin, right? It's
Yeah.
it's a land that you pay to, you sack it, and you destroy another non-basic land. So you get rid of those guys, Cradles, Rogue's Passage, blah 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 blah. Insert whatever, but they still get a land. And Field of Ruin, I believe, is the one that lets other people search for a land as well.
That's
So
correct.
everybody at the table technically benefits because you're getting rid of a threat and you're getting everybody another land.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and even to that point, there are some cards that have destroy target land, but they also, on top of that, have or destroy target artifact.
Right.
So it's like you could run that as a good dual purpose thing.
Yeah,
Because like you
100%.
could destroy the artifact or the land if you need to.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I don't think it's the end of the world if you're running one or two. But if you're building a deck around
If
all
that's
I
the
do
theme,
is
yeah.
all I do is land destruction, it's
Yeah.
like okay, bud.
Like there was a deck I actually my Angels deck too. It was a very convoluted combo, but I ran the Hell Vault, right?
Okay.
And I would sacrifice Angels to the Hell Vault, right? The idea would then be blow up everything using a like an Armageddon, destroy the Hell Vault. Now I'm the only one with creatures.
I think Decree of Annihilation is the one that
Yeah,
blows up.
yeah, destroys
Well,
artifacts
everything.
Too. Yeah.
Decree exiles everything.
Does that count with? Isn't Hellvault if it leaves?
I'm not. I don't remember the
I don't
exact
remember.
wording.
We'll have
I
to
think it might,
check that later.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, something like that for sure.
But
Yeah.
I know that there was a combo in.
I mean,
there.
there's also that combo where you make everything an artifact, even if you don't control it. And just
Mycosynth Lattice.
Mycosynth Lattice,
Oh,
and just
yeah.
boom, destroy all
Yeah.
artifacts.
You could do that
And
too.
you're just like, cool. Well, I'll win the game
and,
now.
and that's the thing. Like if you're doing that and just to stall out the game,
Right. I mean, I've seen some people do that, and we'll get more into like the what not to do's, and I'll be able to yell at those certain people that have hurt me deeply. But I've seen people do that where they like do that with Mycosynth Lattice and the what's the artifact that makes it indestructible? All your artifacts.
Darksteel
Forge,
Yeah.
right? So they do that, and then they blow up all artifacts. So all their stuff is the same, and then they just sit back. They don't swing. They don't do nothing. And you're just like, why did you blow up my board if you're just going to sit there and not kill me?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
well, and this deck is just made to make you scoop. Stop doing those decks.
We'll get to that. We'll get to
We'll
that.
get there.
Yeah, I felt a little bit of a rant coming out there. So yeah, that's I would say the first taboo there for the most part. I think people should kind of stray away from the fear of not wanting to run land destruction.
Yeah.
Sure, 100%.
Let's see how you guys feel about number 2, because I feel like this is a bit of a stinky opinion on this one. Stax Decks.
Stinky.
I think people should at least once in their play life, in their lifetime of play, I guess, they should
Right.
build one and see how it plays. I feel that Stax Decks get a lot more hatred than they should. Obviously, because they're, for a lot of veteran players mainly, they're kind of a feels bad. It's kind of slowing down the pace to an
Sure.
incredibly slow crawl. The meta has shifted. The meta has sped up a lot, especially in a lot of playgroups with Commander nowadays.
Yeah.
I feel like Stax Decks are kind of necessary at certain tables to kind of slow down the mono green elf board who's
Yeah.
gonna Crater Hoof Behemoth on turn 3 and end out the game,
Or Krenko.
or even Krenko decks that go infinite on turn 2, turn 3. I
Yeah.
feel like a Stax
Chris.
deck in that instance really kind of slows down the now sped up play style of Commander nowadays.
Yeah.
How many people, big and small, out in the Magic community talk about, the value of low cost cards, low cost mana rocks, low cost creatures with big impacts once they hit the board? Stax decks kind of say, hey, let's take the speedometer and let's crank that back just a little bit.
See, I would say you're not wrong. However, I would say that that's kind of like a counter deck in a way, like a counter pitch deck.
Mhm.
So like Chris plays Franco.
Yeah,
Right.
no, exactly. Yeah, good
And
example.
you know that deck can go infinite turn 3, turn 2.
Right.
That deck is gonna win. Like you gotta it's gonna win fast, right? That's fine. You can counter pick him by playing something that makes him, makes it a lot harder for him to do those things. But if you're just playing with a bunch of friends and it's just casual game, I feel like that just makes it unnecessarily a slog and makes it kind of boring.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I think a lot of the like taboos and stuff that you don't want to do at a table all comes down to like a turn 0 conversation.
Yeah, no,
Um,
100%. That
like-
actually kind of plays into the next one I'll bring up after the Stax decks. But
But even with a Stax deck, right? If you're playing against people and they're like, yeah, let's bring out like a deck, and they're like, oh, I don't care, whatever, and you bring out the Stax deck and you're like, yeah, you said you don't care, whatever, and you're slowing down the game and you have a win con with that, I I feel like there's no problem to those kind of stack decks. But when you're playing stacks and you're just sitting there going, oh, I can't do anything either, but at least now nobody can.
Yeah.
And just
it kind of defeats
Yeah.
the purpose of, like, I feel like a Stax deck exists in today's meta mainly to counteract a lot of the more what I call like rapid fire decks, the
Yeah,
decks
sure.
that really just go off and they go off quick.
Yeah.
But kind of like with most other decks, put a win con in it. Don't
Yeah.
don't play stacks and slow everyone else down just for the sake of slowing everyone down.
I was gonna say, but at that point, it's just like, where's the fun? You didn't bring the fun.
Yeah.
Where's the fun? You made the soup, but there's no fun in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. That's kind of how I felt about it as well. That's just me, obviously me personally. I think especially newer players should try it at least once just to kind of see like, oh, this is what I need to look out for if I'm ever sitting at a table, or oh, if somebody ever plays one against me, this is what I need to look out for. I need to look out for the stasis, for the winter orb, for the
Right.
trinisphere, for those kind of cards that are meant to slow the game down significantly.
Yeah.
Shout out to the collector Oofies also that have faced many removals and have never seen the light of day again.
Yeah.
See, I do want to say though that there was a lot of discourse recently with Draneth Magistrate,
Oh,
the 2
yeah.
mana creature that just says you can't cast things from
Anywhere except your hand.
Except your hand, so
Yeah.
it turns off your commander. I just want to say that while yes, it is a mean card, it is exactly like your Krenko deck or whatever. Like, mind you, it's a very, very good card, but like at the end of the day, you still have to draw that card in the 99.
Right.
So like,
Yeah.
and even if they get it, if you're not running removal, that is kind of your fault. Like,
You have a 1 in 11 chance of
Yeah,
it
'cause-
starting in your hand without
Right.
mulligan.
Yeah. And,
So-
and statistically too, if everybody is running at least 10 pieces of removal to some degree, whether it's a board wipe or single target,
Mhm.
somebody should be able to get rid of that Draneth Magistrate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
I
shouldn't
mean,
be an issue at
that
all.
is assuming that people are playing removal.
But that's the thing.
I mean, they should.
yeah.
Go watch the first video, go learn how to build a deck, put removal in your decks.
Please
I'm
put
so
removal.
ready to rant on this, guys. I'm so ready to rant
I'm
on
glad
this.
I'm glad I'm firing you up because now we can get into taboo number 3 that I want to talk about. Fiddling or messing around with players' hands or players' libraries. Let me give you guys some examples of cards like that. Cards like Duress, Inquisition of Kozilek,
Yep.
Praetor's Grasp, Bribery. These cards that say, hey, can I see your hand? Sure. Why do you want to see my hand? Take that card, exile it. You don't get to play with it for the rest of the game. Or, in the case of Bribery, hey, can I see your library? Yeah, sure. Oh, cool. You have a Blightsteel Colossus? I want
Mhm.
that.
For
Exactly.
5 mana.
For 5 mana, you just paid less than
Less than half.
less than half
yeah.
the cost of a Blightsteel. Things like that or whatever are typically seen as like a no-no in some of the, I would say some of the more veteran circles of Magic players. They don't typically like playing against a deck that's like, hey, cool. Can I see your hand? Oh, cool. I want that card. People don't generally like playing against that kind of things. Me personally, don't really see it as an issue. Don't understand why it gets so much hatred. Sure, it's annoying, but it's counteractable, and it doesn't completely end the game or destroy your game plan. Sure, it disrupts it a bit, but I don't personally think it should just be like a ixnay, like, no, don't run that at all.
I mean, it just makes it to where your deck you have to change your approach.
Yeah,
You know,
can
and you
change
just
your
adapt.
approach.
But honestly, you have to do that anyways. Like,
Yeah.
You don't know what you're gonna draw
Yeah.
into.
And
unless
I
you-
think the
unless you're
biggest-
stacking your deck that well.
Yeah,
you know?
I think the biggest strength and
trying.
where it
Yeah,
sits
not
at
illegal.
as
You're
well,
cheating.
the biggest strength of it is your opponent, or if you're the one playing it, you have to have very intimate knowledge of what kind of deck they're playing.
Right.
And in the grand scheme of Commander, not everybody's going to build a deck the same way.
Yeah.
You could give 3 separate players Calamax as their commander, and maybe they'll all build it Spellslinger. Maybe some of them will build it Spellslinger a little bit differently. No 3 decks are usually going to be the same unless people are, say, looking up a deck list on EDH Rec or MTG Goldfish, and they
Sure.
are carbon copy, cut, paste, and stamping the exact deck right into paper format.
Mhm.
I don't really think it's ever going to be an issue. Honestly, I think cards like that in and of themselves are, unless it's in the case of like Bribery or like Praetor's Grasp, where sometimes those can be game ending, you just spent your whole turn doing one thing.
Yeah.
Now you have 3 other players who can go, oh man, he just Bribery'd a Blightsteel Colossus out of his library. What are we going to do?
Kill him.
Kill him. Yeah, simple. Kill him. Simple. Oh, it goes to Zach's turn. Zach goes, cool. Plains is my land. Tap, path to exile.
Yeah.
Problem solved. Congratulations. You spent 5 mana to accomplish nothing.
Well, he got a land.
Well, yeah.
He did get a land.
I mean,
that's true.
About it.
I mean, on that topic, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah,
You know, like
I know it's like a big discussion between the Magic community and all of like not running those things, but honestly, never seen a problem with it.
Yeah.
I've built multiple decks about it too.
I've always seen people kind of build decks sort of around like that. I think one of the bigger names in that kind of scenario where it's cards like Itali, Primal Storm, and then
Right.
Paco and Halden, where they're kind of like, cool, I get the top card of your library. Cool, you get the top card of the, after you draw your opening hand, play your land for turn, 91, 92 cards in my library. You could get literally anything.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Why does it matter?
Well, what I was gonna say is like there's one time I remember playing with Austin. I don't even remember the name of the card, but like I basically I knew what deck I was going up against you in. I think it was your Mishra deck or something.
Mhm.
And I had a card that just like allows me to search his hand, library, and graveyard for like as many copies of that card as I want. Like I have to name it,
Mm-hmm.
and then I just exile them. I think it's meant for like
There's
you know,
a few.
back in the day. I think it was meant for like standard.
There's the
Yeah.
ego card, Unmarred Ego.
Yeah. There's also the one from
that's-
Amonkhet, the Dispossess, the
Yeah.
one where you search your opponent's library for an artifact
Yeah.
or another type
Yeah.
of card, and then you search for like all of the exact same copy of that card and exile it.
It's like
Yeah.
Brainstone
Stuff like that.
too, right?
Brainstone.
Yeah.
Stone Brain.
Like, Stone Brain. I mean,
But like, and that's the thing is there are card like decks that are meant for that sort of strategy. Of
Right.
like when an opponent discards a card,
Yeah.
Right.
you know,
And
it's a
kinda like-
mechanic in the game. Who
yeah.
cares?
And
It's
kind of
okay.
like what you were saying earlier. I mean, the Rule Zero talk kind of trumps out the whole like power of a deck like that to
Yeah.
begin with. Like if people know, oh, by the way, the whole point of my deck is to steal things from your hand or steal things from your deck. Oh, well, what do you usually steal? Oh, I usually steal creatures. Cool. I'll play my Spellslinger deck.
Sure. And stuff like that, even when they're not like, okay, I'll just counter your deck entirely with something that won't work. Like, oh, Ragavan. Ragavan's a big one that takes the top card and you can
Yeah.
do all that. But it's like, okay, you're playing Ragavan. I can maybe manipulate the top of my deck sometimes. It doesn't, like, I can scry every now and then.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a big deal if you take the top card kind of thing. So I think, again, I'm personally, if you want to play a steal your stuff deck against me, and I'll do the same, like if that's what we're cool with. But there is certain people I know in the community that's like, oh, you're gonna take my stuff, I'm gonna scoop.
Yeah.
Instantly. It's just like,
they just don't want to deal with it.
oh, you're gonna take my Blights to Colossus? Yeah, that's my win con. I'm done. And they just leave. And it's just
Yeah.
like, okay, dude, like, sucks to suck.
see, there's when it comes to that, I think it's okay for certain cards. Like for example, the examples you used with Atali and Paco and Heldan. The one that's not okay, and I will die on this hill because everyone else will also do that. What deck did Trey play the other day? Or
The other night?
yeah, no, it was the mono black. Whenever you discard or sacrifice something, you get it. The COD from Kettletime.
Oh, Turgrid.
Turgrid.
Turgrid, God of Fright.
Good.
Hate it.
Yeah,
It
no,
is
that
the worst.
that one usually sucks to play against.
Yes, because that's literally just like, okay, so
Yeah.
I play Turgrid. You don't deal with it in the time needed. Cool. I'm gonna play a 3 mana thing. I have a chance of getting 21 permanents from
Yeah.
3 mana,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and it's like, cool. You just drew all that stuff again. I'll go ahead and sacrifice my Mind Slicer. Get rid of the rest of them. I just got possibly 18 more permanents, depending on everything. And it's just like,
Yeah, and it does
really?
depend. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's kind of when that's the kind of deck that you're playing against, you kind of have to change your game plan a little bit. You have to kind of strategize for that kind of eventuality coming up
Right.
with a Turgrid deck. But I do agree with you. It does
That one's
suck to
rough.
play against a Turgrid deck because decks like that with an idea of how Turgrid operates in a commander
Yeah.
format, they're usually pretty well optimized. Like nobody's just slapping together a
Right.
mono black Turgrid deck and be like, oh, I have a couple things that make you discard or sacrifice. No, like 60% of the cards in their
Yeah.
deck are
Well,
going
that's
to
the
be
thing,
like, hey,
too.
cool, let me get that stuff.
Nobody's running those things because of the taboo around it.
mhm.
And so
Yeah.
they're like 10 cents. Like, there's no like crazy card. There's like a couple crazy big cards that you can pay
Thoughtseize.
for, Thoughtseize and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But like, there's so many similar Thoughtseize, like a Duress. It's reprinted every other set.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
There-
yeah, it
There's
is.
cards that like Waste Not. That like it's not a whole lot of money. But it's super affordable to go into.
Waste Not, I think it is kind of expensive. I actually don't remember, but
We can
We
look
could
it up.
look
a
at it.
little
But
bit
like
later.
Tiny Bones.
Oh yeah,
that's another one.
Tiny Bones is crazy expensive. but
Yeah, like
that's-
it's just
he got one printing.
Waste not's $10.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Little
not too
Skelly
bad.
boy.
It's not. Yeah, Skelly Boy is
Little
solid.
Skelly
Like
boy, little scampering Skelly man.
there's just so many
Mhm,
small like smallpox. That's another one. Like
yeah, smallpoxes. That's one I love to run.
2 mana. Everybody get rid of something,
Yep.
and you grab somebody. Like I
Yep,
built
everybody.
a Turgid deck.
Everybody sack a creature. Everybody sack a land. Everybody discard a card, and everybody lose a life for 2
Yeah.
mana.
I
Pretty spicy.
I built a Turgid deck, and I played it like 3 times. The second time I played it, I was like, I should probably take this apart. The third time I played it, I was like, sorry guys, I scoop. And they're like, what? You're I'm like, listen, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it just feels
I don't-
bad at times.
I don't want to play this anymore. It's just not fun for me at some point. But
yeah. So
yeah.
let's get into the last one. I'm very curious on what you guys think of this one, but let's think about the last one. Stealing creatures / stealing permanents. Now, when I say that, I'm talking like your Rubinia Soulsinger, Empress Galena,
Yasova.
Captain Beckett, Captain Beckett Brass, Yasova. Cards like that just say, hey, cool, I want that creature. And in most cases, in the case of like when I think of like Rubinia Soulsinger or like Memnarch, we're like, cool, I want that. I keep that for good.
Yeah.
Another one I think of is from coming out on Neon Dynasty, Invoke the Winds.
Yep.
Right.
Literally for what is it? It's 1 and quadruple blue. It's like, cool. What is oh, you have a Mind Slaver that you couldn't activate? Cool. I want that.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna untap it. Now I'm gonna act like stuff like that. That is another one of those things that's kind of seen as like a, hey, don't build a deck that does that. How many what was it the case? I think it was the one time our friend Richard played a Memnarch deck. He has a Memnarch, or he has Memnarch in his Alayla deck.
Mm-hmm.
And he's 9 times out of 10, he has to speak up and be like, oh, by the way, I'm not going to steal your guys' stuff with Memnarch. But then once you start setting up a threatening board presence, he's like, actually, I'm going to start stealing your stuff. But in most cases, people don't typically like to build decks like that because they're just like, oh, I don't want to step on any toes. I don't want to steal people's stuff. No, bro, if you've got the capability to go for it, steal that Itali. Steal that Blightsteel Colossus.
Yeah.
Steal that Ulamog that your opponents made 3 tokens of. Steal the tokens too.
Well,
Just steal it.
Well, like I run like a Queen Marquise, the Marquise of the Black Rose deck.
Yeah.
And I mean that's the whole theme of the deck is, take somebody's creature with a
With literally
like a
anything.
portent of betrayal or something like
Yeah,
that.
right.
Right.
Active
Active
treason.
Like that, yeah.
Bring them to my field, swing at the person with the highest life, get the 1/1 counter. If they block, it dies, comes back to my field.
Yeah, because it had a 1/1 counter on it. Yeah, see, that's
Yeah.
spicy.
And I did the same thing with the Yasova Dragonclaw with the Teamer build where I'd run like Greater Good and stuff like that, where it'd
Yep.
just be like a sack outlet.
Yeah, see, that's
And-
also spicy.
See that?
And
That's
the same
evil.
thing.
But I
And
mean, I get it.
But that's the thing, like, okay,
it.
yeah, it's just like cool. Or, like, and I still run the Admiral Beckett Brass. Now it's not it's not built around winning by stealing stuff, but it can still do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Right.
you have Tasha, where it's a little bit different, same vibe though, because you
are
cast
still
spells
taking stuff
from them and you cast them, but it's a little bit more random rather than
Mhm.
just like give
Yeah.
me that. Okay, give me this. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another one I thought about just now was Thassa Deep Dwelling. That's
Okay.
another one.
You know,
You take people's creatures and you blink them, and they come back under your control.
Do they?
I don't know if they do.
I'm pretty sure
You
Thassa
sure?
says that when you pick a creature and you blink it, then you return it to the battlefield under your control.
It may say owners, but
Well, one I was just thinking of is like those cards that like when somebody casts an instant or sorcery, and you can then take control of said instant or sorcery and redirect it to different targets.
It says it, right?
yeah, it also says at the beginning of your end step, exile up to 1 other target creature you control, then
Yes.
return that card to the battlefield under your control.
Yeah.
So you could steal. So the thing I've seen with Thassa
Interesting.
Deep Dwelling is you take people's creatures from them, and at the end step you blink them.
Trigger on
You
stack.
take them with like temporary like effects or whatever. It takes the original like, oh, return it to the controller. No, Thassa says no. We keeping this one.
Yeah.
Now this one's ours. They belong to the sea now. You're like, whoa,
They deep blood.
yeah, they deep dwelling now. Get real acquainted with the coral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think those are all like,
Yeah,
again, you have any more taboos for us? Nick?
yeah. Well, no, that's kind of really it with the list. The biggest thing I was gonna say why they really shouldn't be considered taboo anymore is kind of like decks like that are kind of telegraphed you know?
Yeah.
You kind of know not to put out, like, you kind of know if you're sitting on enough mana for Atali, maybe don't play Atali if you see they have their Empress Galena, or they see you have their Rubinia Soul Singer, or maybe they have Thassa Deep Dwelling out.
Right.
Maybe don't play your biggest things just yet. Maybe plan accordingly for how their board state is set up. And then you kind of have to seeing such an easy telegraph like that. Yeah, I always say we all always say the best kind of removal is player removal.
Yeah,
right.
so Targnar just gets through.
Targnar just gets through.
The only thing I will say, and I push back on that with this, is like, if you really don't have anything else to do, or if you're like, you know, if somebody has the Empress Glean out and they're going to steal your stuff, you know they're going to steal your stuff, and you're running a deck that doesn't have many creatures, you know, it's like, oh crap, like this is a Spell Slinger deck, everything in here is utility. Or you just like, you're in a position where you really need a certain creature, but you know you play it, they could take it. I mean, I get how it's mean. I mean, granted, again, it's a valid strategy because it's in
100%.
the game.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do see how it could be off-putting to some people.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, and again, what that really all comes down to is have a conversation with your play group.
Oh, no, yeah, no, 100%.
You know, make sure that everybody around you is cool with what you're playing and that you guys are all on the same page. Because, like, I mean, some people may not be down with it, but other people like are going to be like us and be like, yeah, it's, I mean,
Sure.
Magic printed the card.
Yeah.
Wizards printed the card.
Just run more removal.
Run more of it, please.
They can't get your creature if they're dead. It's just not that hard.
On top of that, in the case of, say, if you're, like you were saying, playing a Spellslinger deck, one thing I've kind of noticed from the handful of people who I've played with who play decks like that, they tend to get a little starry-eyed when they see, you know, big creatures hit the board. They go, ooh, shiny, I want that one. You're kind of just like, cool, Goblin Electromancer, and they're just like, shiny. They typically don't pay attention to your utility creatures.
Yeah.
Is that smart of them? No. Does that still work to your benefit? Absolutely.
All Magic players are secretly dumb.
I mean, I'm here.
Me too.
Me three.
Nah, I'm not.
Yeah, Zach's not included in that demographic. It's just us three.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed videos like this, you should like and subscribe. Maybe even hit that bell so you can see some more stuff in the future. We're going to be here for it.
If you want to hang out with us and other nerds, even send us some of your dank memes, click the link below to join our Discord. It's totally free.
And if you want to support the channel further, you can check the description for links to the Patreon, where there you can access higher levels of Discord, other channels, other types of geekdom, and any sort of behind-the-scenes content and even prototype merch in the future.
If you're still watching, thank you so much. We appreciate it. You help make this stream a reality. Have a great week, and we hope to see you again real soon. Real soon.